Well, I wanted to let you guys know the Appeal to Reason CD. I absolutely love the CD. I like everything that you guys have done anyway, but it's just a solid CD, and I wanted to let you guys know that I reviewed it last night, sent it to my publisher, and it should be in the November issue. And of course, I did give it 5 stars because it deserves 5 stars for sure.
Yeah, thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I wanted to know. I wanted to let you know that I think it's Entertainment, the one that's the one right before Hero of War.
Yep.
That's my favorite. But then in the review, I mentioned, that's my favorite track. But then it comes right before Hero of War, which is heart-wrenching and makes me want to cry. So, I said, as only, a good story, can do, and then I saw that it was possibly going to be played tonight. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be, it was heart-wrenching for me, and I don't have anybody personally over there, so I can only imagine how it must be for someone that does have a family member or a boyfriend or husband or wife over there. But was there a certain person that inspired that song for you guys, or,
For me, I watched a documentary called The Ground Truth, and it was just all about people in the military coming back from Iraq, and whether they were active or not, just telling stories of what was going on over there and their own personal involvement in what was happening. And it was at times a very enlightening story, and at times a very sad story that was being told over there. Just these guys who have become victims themselves in a way, you know what I mean, by the nature of war, and what it's done. And so after watching the whole documentary, and that coupled with the fact that we have a lot of fans in the armed forces who come out to our shows or send us emails or talk to us, whether we're here in Florida, whether we're near a military base in Berlin, we get lots of fans from the Army and the Marines and the Navy and the National Guard, just all telling us different stories, and it's sort of, we've learned a lot about it, just over the last few years, and I felt like there needed to be a song for our generation to document what was going on. In the same way that there are so many songs from the Vietnam era, songs by whether it's Neil Young or Bob Dylan or CCR or Buffalo Springfield, there's so many songs that sort of documented that time. So somebody like myself, who years later can hear one of those songs and get an idea of what it was like to be living during Vietnam. And so I felt like there was no song that I had heard yet that really was capturing what was going on with the war in Iraq and what it was doing to young Americans who are being forced to fight this, whether they believe it or not.
right?
And so that was kind of where the song came from. And I was careful not to really inject my own opinion into the song. I wanted it just to be a story, just the story of a soldier from front to back, you know what I mean? And it didn't need to be like some punk singer's opinion of how he felt about that. It just needed to be a story.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of where it came from.
No, that's. And you did it in the right way, for sure, because it follows that storyline, and you can, even just the way your tone and inflection, the way you sang, as the story, and the song progresses, it's just like, especially the part. I think when it gets to that last, verse with the girl and the, and the white, surrender, flag.
Which is also incidentally a true story. Like, that was something that was, if you see the documentary The Ground Truth, there's a Marine in that one, in that documentary telling that story, and I was as moved as people are by the song, that's how moved I was when I first saw that documentary. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's like a real story, really happened to this guy, and it really made him, go home and really think about, man, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I think that, obviously things like that happen in war, but it changes how it affects you, whether you believe in that war or whether maybe you don't believe in that war.